You know, it's so easy to get caught up focusing on the road ahead, right? We're always thinking about the next thing, the next big goal. But what if the real secret to moving forward is actually taking a quick glance in the rearview mirror? That's what we're going to dive into today. This really cool idea that looking back is one of the best ways to figure out where you're going.
I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. When you're right in the middle of some big change, it can feel messy, confusing, you might even feel completely lost. But then, way later, you look back and see these footprints. Suddenly they form a path, and you can see the progress you were making all along, progress that was totally invisible at the time. It's all about finding that clarity in hindsight.
And hey, there's actually a great word for this, a retrospective. Now, this isn't about getting stuck in the past or dwelling on things. Not at all. It's about using the past like a pair of glasses to see your future more clearly. It's looking back with a real purpose, to understand what happened, learn from it, and ultimately to grow.
But let's be real. This kind of deep reflection, it usually doesn't start when things are going great. A lot of the time, it starts from a place of pain. So that's where we're going to start, by talking about the sting of an ending, that raw, awful feeling when you get left behind. And that sting, it's a really personal kind of pain, isn't it? It's that feeling when a connection you thought was solid just vanishes. The sudden absence of a person can just leave you completely reeling, making you question everything you thought you had with them. This is the question that can absolutely haunt you. You search and search for a reason, for some kind of closure, for anything that might make sense of the hurt. But when someone just leaves without a word, they leave this huge void, and you're left dealing with a silence that just feels impossible to justify.
Okay, but what if, and this is a big what if we could reframe that entire story? Let's explore a totally different idea. That maybe, just maybe, a painful, unexplained goodbye could actually turn out to be a kind of quiet gift?
So it's really interesting to flip the script for a second and look at this from the other side, from the perspective of the person who actually left. This little story about leaving an online community, it shows us that the choice to cut ties is almost never as simple as it looks.
And this is where you see just how complicated it can be. Even when you're the one who makes the break, there can be so much doubt that lingers. It's hardly ever a clean decision. And that feeling of, man, I wonder if I should have done that differently, can stick with you for a long, long time.
So this is kind of how that whole retrospective process works, right? It comes in stages. First, you have to admit it. Yep, that hurt, that sting was real, for everyone. Then, you start to find the reason, like realizing, okay, there was no growth there, so something had to change. And finally, you reflect on how it all went down, and you have that thought, I really wish I could have handled that better.
And this, right here, this is the real payoff. This is the magic of looking back. When you reflect on a decision that wasn't perfect, even if you feel some regret, it turns into a powerful lesson. The wisdom you gain from that past mistake is exactly what helps you grow. It's how we all get better.
All right, so let's tie all these threads together. What do we actually learn from these tough goodbyes? Well, we learn how to find that deep wisdom that, honestly, you can only get from looking back.
You know, any sudden ending can feel just like a door slamming shut right in your face. It feels so final. It feels like rejection, like a huge opportunity that's just gone. But that's only how it feels in that moment.
Because with time, with little perspective, you might start to see that what felt like a locked door was actually a quiet gift. Maybe it was a redirection you desperately needed, or a form of protection. Maybe that ending had to happen to make space for something amazing to begin. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What door slammed shut in your life that, when you look back now, you realize was actually a quiet gift?